Having been a photographer for more than 25 years, natural tendency is start to look a little bit back at what happened and try to understand that in a number of different ways. So I have two projects that are actually working with the concept of the legacy of the photo. The first one is a project called the Lost Rolls. Over the course of 25 years, there was over 200 rolls of film that was exposed but were never developed for various reasons. I developed the film, and as I looked at the work, I started to realize there were many images that I didn't remember taking, that I didn't know where I was and I didn't know who the people were. I had always believed my journal, my diary, my daily life would be the photographs that I had taken. And so whenever I look at a piece of film, at an image, a slide, a negative, I can tell you exactly where I was on that day, what happened that morning, what happened later in that day, what it led to, and so on. But here, looking at this new film, those memories weren't there, and I realized because I hadn't seen the work, I lost that ability to create that foundation between my brain and the image. And so it was lost. This was a very jarring experience for me, and I started to look back at my last 25 years in a different way. At the same time, I found photographs that I did remember taking, but I had never seen before. I never knew where that picture was, and all of a sudden here it popped up. So I was kind of completing memories, but also creating these new incomplete memories. And so it was really this kind of exploration of this idea about memory and photography, and also kind of tying it in to the end of the analog era, where today, when you're taking a photograph with your phone or even a digital camera, you're always going to have at the very least the date and the time, and if it's with your phone or a camera that's GPS enabled, a location. And if you're running your photographs through facial recognition, you'll eventually know who everybody is. So this idea of having these lost memories doesn't really exist anymore in the digital world. And as I talked more and more to people about this idea, I found out that many people also have undeveloped exposed rolls of film sitting at home. Their own little lost memories locked away in these little canisters. A holiday from 10 years ago, a graduation, a family event, all sorts of different things that people just never bothered to develop. And now, because it's so hard to get your film developed, people are just like, oh, forget about it. But I'm hoping that this project is going to be a call to arms. While you still can, get your film developed, find your memories, and complete them. And so it's been a very interesting project. And at the same time, I've been working on a film and a book called Biography of Photo, where I'm going back to several different countries to look at how some of my work became incorporated in the historical narrative of the country. So while some of my work has been very recognized and had impact outside of the countries, I've never really looked at exactly how the photographs had played inside the countries. So I have a photograph from Panama, which was used as one of the justifications for the Panama invasion, and it became a very famous picture outside of Panama, and I didn't really understand how it played inside Panama. And so now I've made 3 or 4 trips back, and I've spoken to everybody from the president of the country down to people sitting on a park bench. And people talk about what that photograph meant to them and what they remember from 1989 when that photograph was taken. And I'm finding out stories like, it was illegal to have the photograph in your possession. You would be arrested if you were found with it. It was used by the opposition, faxed around to rally people to come out onto the streets and protest against the dictatorship. Many protesters were telling me how it gave them hope that the world finally knew what they were going through under the dictatorship. And the picture kind of led them to doing X, Y, and Z. And it's really kind of this amazing exploration of the life of a photograph. Something that has nothing to do with me. Once the photograph left my camera, went out there into the world, it had its own life. And I'm starting now really to find out more about that. I'm doing the same thing with a photograph from Bosnia as well, that was used in war crimes tribunals, was made into art, became a comic strip, all sorts of different things, but basically becoming very interwoven into the historical narrative of a conflict for a people. And whenever I go back to Bosnia and people are introduced to me and told I'm the one that took their photograph, they almost within minutes become very emotional. It represented such a dramatic period in their life, and they were very appreciative of what I had done, but more appreciative of the fact that the photograph has existed and has reminded people of what happened during their war.